I come on my 30th birthday, I'm thinking about what I would have done differently. Another episode of the One Network here last week. You know, we had our first billionaire. Now I've got my first professional pickup artist, dating coach, entrepreneur, Justin Marc. He's a guy who's been pretty viral, prolific online in, kind of multiple spaces, entertainment, business, etc. PR, okay?
Yeah.
I've dealt with some bad PR myself.
Yeah.
Employees this, ex-girlfriend this.
Yeah.
Do you ever want to just get out there, and do you ever want to strike back at people who talk shit about you?
I think I was quoted as saying, "Fuck you, take sis."
Yeah.
So I think that's ridiculous. I think, looking back at it, the best way to handle PR is not respond.
You want me to do the chorus one more time? Let me do it, yeah.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
I think we should add a little bit more energy.
I'll do it. I gotcha. Let's do it.
We're actually going to do an intro like that. Oh yeah, that's fine.
Storm.
So we got a vlog that we're putting out. Lots of business content from the last couple of weeks. We did an interview doing Tribeca with Partrick Carroll. He's a real estate billionaire. So if you're not familiar, by the way, with the One Network, what we're doing, so I'm a serial entrepreneur. Started my first company when I was 18. We're building a crowd accelerator for businesses. So you have an online business, you want to start it, scale it up quicker, you join us. And then we give you all the components necessary for success.
Guys, this is the Partrick Carroll episode. Lots of tidbits, lots of crazy advice. The guy has a interesting reputation, to say the least, but I thought he came across as very professional, incredible guy. A lot of those tips I would take personally. So if you want to connect with Pat, maybe ask some more questions down to me, see if we get an answer.
Just because the more successful you get, look, if you weren't successful, they wouldn't be talking about you in the first place. If you were a nobody from nowhere, you're not getting written about. So in one sense, I think it's easy to get frustrated, but you just got to remind yourself, if you're going to be successful, if you're in anything, people are going to throw stones, and it's best not to respond.
So guys, we got another episode of the One Network here. I got Partrick Carroll with me. Well-known entrepreneur, American success story. I was telling Pat before we started here that you're like the epitome of what everybody in our group and our podcast wants to be in terms of an entrepreneur.
I love that. I, ask the right questions. I do my research, and then come prepared with the right questions. I think that's important. So I would, go to where wealthy people hang out. So I used to spend a lot of time playing golf, even though I hated it, because you have a lot of successful guys there. And you can make sure your shoes are shined, things like that. The details matter very much. I fucking just did it. I mean, I never really budgeted. I just always, I remember going and looking at suits, like this is a Keaton suit, right? I'd ask the price, and I would be so disgusted by the price. And then I would just tell myself, listen, if you want to be in this league, if you want to be a big boy, this is the price of admission, right?
Yeah.
And same with when I was coming up to New York, when I started flying private. I mean, even to this day, I look at the price of flying private. You just have to assume that you're going to make so much money that it's going to be nothing in comparison.
Right.
All you could do was blog and try to make money off affiliate marketing through traffic on blogs. That's all it was. Right. And so you either had that, and that felt like a scam because you internet money at 2011, 2012, it was unheard of. So what did I do? I joined the MLM, and I was literally one of those guys that was so enamored by it in the first meeting, because I was telling you, my mom wanted to make me a doctor, and I literally was wait, you're telling me I don't have to go to UCLA and get a doctor's degree? There's another path besides that? And so they sat me down in a meeting, and it's typical MLM startup path. Robert Cusack is Rich Dad Poor Dad. They had the presentation. They sit you down. It was a hot summer July. Yeah, it was gold.
Guys, what's going on? As I come on my 30th birthday, I'm thinking about what I would have done differently in my early 20s. Every day, the One Network, we get plenty of young entrepreneurs coming in the program, out of high school, out of college, trying to figure out what's the move, what moves do we make now, so in 10 years we can be buying houses, be the next Partrick Carroll. Check out the podcast just dropped, Billionaire. on the One Network. So I look back, what are the big mistakes? How do we distill this information down and make it actually really easy for people to understand in terms of what are the things you need to do to get your business strategy working first? Number one, if you are coming out of high school and college, you need to be talking to everyone. I mean, you cannot be an introvert, you cannot be a lonely person who only gets up, gets on the computer, does his thing every day. You've got to be somebody who is talking to everyone around you, whether that's in your college, in your job, in your immediate vicinity. You need to be talking to those people, starting relationships, getting them to like you, getting them in your phone book, learning as much as you can about the people around you. If you're not in a place, in a city where you interact with a ton of people or a university, you can do this online, getting involved in different interest groups, but you need to start talking to more people. My second and most important point is you need to nurture and keep all of your relationships. Don't let people forget about you. Create a reminder in your phone, use a CRM, use a system like the One Network to follow up with people in your life, because those people will ultimately be of use in your business path. A lot of times in my 20s, I would meet somebody, forget about them, be preoccupied with other various aspects of my life, and then I would lose that connection. You can't grow because the most successful entrepreneurs have the biggest possible networks. They're able to maintain relationships simultaneously with many people, whether that be client, leads, prospects, etc. So you're building up that capacity within yourself and actually doing it. And then when you launch your eventual company or idea, you'll immediately have people who can get the word out for you. Spread the word as a sounding board. The people are going to be the thing that morph your company into success from the starting point. My third point is where to spend your time. I would spend all of my time, if I'm starting a company, in one singular niche, and I would find out a way to talk to a ton of people in that niche. You don't even need necessarily the business idea or the marketing. You basically need to have a idea of what industry you want to be in. Could be AI, tech, B2B agencies, and then you need to find a way to talk to as many people, other businesses, people who are high up executives at those businesses through whatever means possible. It could be running a cold email campaign to talk to those agency owners, scraping a list. It could be going to a lot of e-com conferences, but that's where you should be focusing all of your time. And every week you should take inventory, accountability. How many people did I talk to in that niche? When I was thinking about how I spent my time in my early 20s, I was bouncing back and forth between different niche, but different business ideas. I never built up a strong rapport or standing in one industry. People who got started in business later that I saw focused on one specific angle, cold email, their specific niche, and they spent all their time in that. Even though they worked much less than I did, they were able to make inroads and establish themselves much more. So those are the 3 things that I would change in my 20s if I was trying to get started and be an entrepreneur. If you're trying to start a business or scale your existing business, we have a networked community, a service for entrepreneurs where we act as your agent. We push you, we promote you to other businesses. So you don't even need to build that network. We can do it for you. Check it out at the One Network. You want me to do the chorus one more time? Let me do it, yeah.
Yeah, but I think we should add a little bit more energy.
I'll do it. I gotcha. Let's do it. You started recording content, coaching people. What was the first steps you took 8 years ago?
Yeah, so I started content in 2014, right? It's 2024 right now. So I started 10 years ago. You can find these videos on YouTube. I look back on this and it just seems like I'm yapping. But from where I was at, there was people that would see my content and resonate with what I was saying, whatever the fuck I was saying back then. And so that is, how we started the personal brand. And I pitch myself all the time, dude. Every time I sign a chick's dick, I'm pitching myself. I'm pitching my dick, right? It's a pitch, right? When I go to South America and I run Instagram ads to meet chicks, I'll post Instagram stories. I'll be like, hey girls, I'm Justin from Canada. I want to meet you. Let's go on a date. I'm looking for a life, right? And then I run Instagram ads. I run $100 a day in ads, and I have fucking 300 chicks sliding my DMs every single day from that. And I'm pitching them to come over and suck my cock. It's a pitch, right? Every time I fucking go to a club owner, I'm like, hey, I can bring 150 chicks to your event Friday night. Let's fucking do some business. Pay me a few grand. That's a pitch. Every time I have a guy go through my fucking funnel and they're interested in coaching with me, and I'm like, hey, these are my fucking prices. You probably can't afford it, but let's see what we can do. It's a fucking pitch. I pitch people all the fucking time. That's why I make a lot of money, and that's why I pull a lot of baddies. But I never make it about myself. I never make it about what they're going to do for me. When I'm pitching someone, I never make it about what they're going to do for me. When I pitch a bad bitch and saying, hey, I think you're cute as fuck, let me fuck you, right? That's value leech. That's taking value. That's how I pitch these girls. I whisper in their ear and I tell them that I'm falling in love with them and I want to raise a family with them. You know what I mean? That's how I pitch them. When I'm doing business with people, I tell them about how their life's going to change and how, like, I find what their incentive is and I give it to them. It's not about me. It was never about me. And it is never about you. When you're pitching, it's never about you. It's about the person you're pitching to.
If people are interested in working with you, what's the best way for them to get in touch? And
I mean, guys can schedule a free call at me at justinmark.com. I literally look at every single application that goes through that funnel. I read every single message on Instagram. Every single message. My Instagram's drunkjustin2. I also have a YouTube channel with literally like 2,000 plus free videos. With Justin Mark. Justin Mark on YouTube. And Chris, thanks for having me on, brother.
Justin, appreciate it, man. It was great.
Storm.